The Kennedy family is pretty well known for representing the liberal wing of the Democratic Party throughout the Cold War era, and Joseph McCarthy is well known for his controversial role in pouring fuel to the fires of the Red Scare and being an ultra-conservative anti-communist. So why did the Kennedy family and McCarthy get along so well and have an unlikely political alliance? You see, McCarthy had become a close friend of Joseph P. Kennedy Sr., a fervent anti-communist and who was also a frequent guest at the Kennedy compound in Massachusetts since the late 1940s. McCarthy had also dated two of Kennedy's daughters, and McCarthy was the godfather to Robert F. Kennedy's first child, and was a family friend who supported the political careers of Joseph Kennedy's sons. When Joe McCarthy became a dominant voice of anti-communism starting in 1950, Joseph Kennedy also contributed thousands of dollars to McCarthy and became one of his major supporters. Joseph Kennedy also had a national network of contacts and became a vocal supporter, building McCarthy's popularity and making sizable contributions to his campaign. Joseph Kennedy had hoped that one of his sons would one day become president, and spoiler alert, that would actually happen. But at the time, Joseph Kennedy was mindful of the anti-Catholic prejudice which Democrat Al Smith had faced in his 1928 presidential campaign for office, and therefore Joseph Kennedy supported McCarthy as a national politician who might pave the way for a younger Kennedy's presidential candidacy. While at Harvard, Robert Kennedy was unusual among his friends for defending McCarthy when they discussed politics after graduation. RFK was chosen by McCarthy to be a counsel for his investigatory committee, but he resigned after 6 months due to disagreements with McCarthy and his committee counsel Roy Cohn. Bobby Kennedy disapproved of McCarthy's aggressive methods of garnering intelligence on suspected communists. He would resign in July of 1953, but retained a, quote, fondness for McCarthy. While on the committee, it got to the point where RFK and McCarthy's lawyer, Roy Cohn, had threatened to fight one another in a fist fight, which shows that politics really hasn't come too far. Regardless, for his work on the McCarthy Committee, Bobby Kennedy was included on a list of 10 outstanding young men of 1954, created by the U.S. Junior Chamber of Commerce. His father had arranged for the nomination, which was his first national award. In 1955, Kennedy was admitted to practice law before the United States Supreme Court, so you could say that RFK's relationship with Joe McCarthy is what made him the Attorney General in the future. McCarthy did not campaign for John F. Kennedy's Republican 1952 opponent for the Massachusetts Senate election, which was incumbent Henry Cabot Lodge Jr., and this was due to his friendship with the Kennedys, and also reportedly due to a $50,000 donation from Joseph Kennedy. Lodge would end up losing the election to Kennedy despite Eisenhower winning the state in the presidential election, and unlike many Democrats, JFK, who served in the Senate with McCarthy until McCarthy's death in 1957, he never actually attacked McCarthy, and McCarthy, in return, never attacked John F. Kennedy. When a speaker at a February 1952 club dinner stated that he was glad that McCarthy had not attended Harvard College, an angry John F. Kennedy jumped up and denounced the speaker and left the event in a rage. When Arthur M. Schlesinger Jr. asked Kennedy why he avoided criticizing McCarthy, Kennedy responded by stating that half of his voters in Massachusetts looked on McCarthy as a hero, and privately JFK respected McCarthy's relationship with his family. Though he was not as vocally anti-communist as Joseph McCarthy, John F. Kennedy supported the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952, which required all communists to register with the government, and he deplored the loss of China. During a speech in Salem, Massachusetts on January 30th, 1949, Kennedy denounced Truman and the State Department for contributing to the, quote, tragic story of China whose freedom we once fought to preserve. What our young men had saved in World War II, our diplomats and our president had frittered away. So JFK was more open to criticizing President Truman, who was in his own party, than he was to Joseph McCarthy. Anyways, in 1954, when the Senate voted to condemn Joseph McCarthy for breaking Senate rules and abusing the Army General during the McCarthy Army hearings, Kennedy was the only Democrat to not cast a vote against him. Kennedy would at one point draft a speech supporting the censure following Bobby's departure from McCarthy's staff, though. However, it would be delivered because Kennedy was hospitalized for back surgery in Boston. Although Kennedy never indicated how he would have voted, the episode damaged his personal support among many liberals in the community in the 1956 and 1960 elections. Did you know about the relationship between Joseph McCarthy and the Kennedy family before this video? Is there anything that I left out or should have talked more about? Write in the comments below, and thank you for watching.